Hello everyone, my name is Alali God bless and I want to welcome you to today's class. In the last module of the class we talked about graphic design and understanding what graphic design is all about, and we move to elements of graphic design. So if you are not in that class, so you can go back to the previous video and check the last tutorial. So in this class we'll be looking at the software we are going to be using for the graphics class, which is Adobe Photoshop. So we'll try to understand the Photoshop overview. Now we'll try to look at the Photoshop workspace, the menu bar, the option bar, the setting up a work area in Photoshop. And we'll also try to look up the Photoshop tools. Please stay tuned and go nowhere. So when you launch your Photoshop, this is what you get. This is Photoshop 2022, the latest version, Photoshop 2022 CC. So now if you open your Photoshop, this is the interface that comes out. Now you might not have these images, maybe you've not done any previous job, you might not have these images, but now if you click on create new, it's going to take you where you can open a new document. Now if you click on open, it's going to take you to a recent job you've done, or maybe you want to insert an image, you can click on this open. So let's click on create new. So when you click on create new, hold on a bit, this interface comes out. Now this preset is where you're going to do your setup. Maybe you want to create an A4 size, A4 flyer, A5 flyer. Maybe you want to create a billboard. This is where you do your settings, and this is where you create your artboard. Now we want to have an A4 flyer size. You see where they wrote print, click on this print to give you different paper sizes. Now when you see these stuff like this, don't get confused, don't panic, it's very simple. These are paper sizes. Now this is letter, this is legal, this is tabloid, this is A4, this is A6, this is A5, this is A3, this is B5, B4, B3, C4, and all the rest. So what we are looking for is an A4 size. So now we have our resolution here to be 300. Leave every other thing default. Just click on the A4 size. And when you click on the A4 size, is in millimeters, your unit of measurement is millimeter. Now you can put your title here. This is where you put the title of your document. Let me put a default title like introduction. Okay, let me change it. Let me say we are designing a flyer for a business center, like a business. Let me use look tech flyer. Okay, so we have our document here. So remember we've selected A4. We still have other sizes here that you can go through on your own, but for the sake of time we will be focusing on this. So right now I'm going to set this size to be A4 and leave every other thing default. So we'll click on create. So it's loading. Our paper size is loading. All right. Okay, just give me some time to load. It's coming. Okay. We have our default A4 size that we just created. Alright, so on this Photoshop 2022, a lot of improvement, a lot of things have been improved, a lot of tools have been added, a lot of AI attributes have been added, like especially when it comes to selections, where you don't have to come and start using polygonal lasso tools for selection, quick tool for selection, or magic wand tools for selection. you could just use the frame tools, the object selection tools, and it will automatically select tools for you. Okay, so back to back. So let's go a bit introduction. Now we have our A4 size just like this, and it's very, very beautiful. Now I don't want this A4 size to be on portrait. This is a portrait form. I want it to be on a landscape form. So what do? I come to image. I don't want to go and start creating another size. I come to image like this, click on image. You will see image rotation. I'll click on counterclockwise, just like this, and it gives me a landscape form. So that's by the way. Now let's look at some of these parts of the Photoshop, like the menu bar, the option bar, the tools bar. Now this layer, this particular side where you have PS files, edits, image layer types, select, filter, 3D view, plugins, window help. This is called your menu bar. This is the menu bar in the Adobe Photoshop. You can call it menu bar or the menu panel. You can call it a bar or you can call it a panel. It's still the same thing. Now on the second, where you have the auto select line, the show, transform control, this line is called the option or control bar in Photoshop. This is called the option bar or the control bar in Photoshop, or you can call it control panel, option panel. It's the same thing. Now on this left side of your panel, this is the tool. These are the Photoshop tools. Now these tools are very, 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 very important. This is what you use to achieve almost all your dreams in Photoshop. Now where we have our document, this is the title of our document. This is called the image tab. This is called the image tab. Now if you take a look, you will see some measurements like this in Photoshop. Like this, there are some measurements in Photoshop, like when you have 200, 1800, 1600, 1400. This is called your rulers. It helps you to align your document. So if you don't have your ruler, you can come to view and you click on rulers. Just click on this. Now if I click on this, my ruler goes out, and if I come back to the view and I click on this, my ruler comes in. So that is just it. So we have, very importantly, we have our layer panel. Click on Windows. If you are not seeing your layer panel, click on Windows and you click on layers. Your layer panel pops up. So your layer panel, whatsoever you import on your work area appears on your layer panel. So in our next class, we'll be talking about the layer panel. I'm going to explain to you how the layer works. So that's by the way. So this is the layer panel in Photoshop. It is very, very, very important. So let's come back to the tools. Now in these Photoshop tools, a lot of things have been added. So some tools have been divided into groups. So I'm going to be introducing the tools to you bit by bit. So this is called the move tool in Photoshop. It helps you to move objects, help you to drag and drop objects. Release tool. This is called the move tool in Photoshop. Then the next, you have what we call the rectangular marquee tool. The rectangular marquee tool in Photoshop. Now if I right click on this tool, I'm going to see other tools of the same family in Photoshop. So in Photoshop, anywhere you see arrows like this, tiny arrows like this, just note that there are some informations there that you can see, and it will help you. So this is called the rectangular marquee tool. Inside the rectangular marquee tool, we still have the elliptical tool, elliptical marquee tool, single row marquee tool, single column marquee tool. So on your own, you can check out this stuff. So this is the rectangular marquee tool that helps you. Now going further, we have the lasso tool, where you use and do your selections. These are families of the selection tools. We have the lasso tool. When we right click inside, we still see polygonal lasso tool, magnetic lasso tool. These are family of the same tools. Okay, that's by the way. We still have the object selection tool. I love this object. This is one of the tools that have been introduced to Photoshop 2022. Please, if you don't have 2022, try to get it. So this is the object selection tool. It just helps you to select your object automatically without you using it manually. So it's very easy to use. It's very easy to use. So that's by the way. So inside the object selection tool, we still have the quick selection tool and the magic wand tool. All right, thank you. So we have the crop tool, helps you to crop your maybe your documents, your files, and all the rest, your images. You have the crop tool. Then on this again, we have the frame tool. This is called the frame tool in Photoshop. This is called the frame tool. You can frame object and insert clips images inside another. So this is the frame tool in Photoshop. Okay, so we have the eyedropper tool, who helps you to pick colors and drop colors. Eyedropper tool. So going further, we have the spot healing brush tool. This is very good when you are doing retouching in Photoshop. Maybe you are removing blemishes in an image. This is very good. So we have the brush tool in Photoshop. We help you to create brushes. This is very important when you are doing retouching, manipulations, and other designs in Photoshop. This is very good. So this is called the brush tool. Help you to paint. Maybe you are doing smoke, digital art. This is very important. Then we have the clone stamp tool, which you can use to clone objects, replace objects in different ways, paint objects and other parts of images. And this is called the clone stamp tool. So if I right click on the clone stamp tool, we still have the pattern stamp and all the rest. So this is called the history brush tool. It helps you to paint images. This is called the history brush tool. Then very importantly, we have the eraser tools. You can use to erase background, you can use to erase images, you can use to erase brushes. So we have the gradient tool. You can use to create gradient images, gradient backgrounds, gradient fill shapes, stroke colors, and all the rest. So going further, we still have the blur tool, which is very important. Help you to blur your images. And again, we still have the dodge tool. This is very good when it comes to retouching. The dodge tool is good when you are doing your retouching. It helps you to lighten your images, add some textures and some brightness to your image. Then we have the pen tool. The pen tool is very important in Photoshop, helping you to draw backgrounds, helping you to draw shapes, helping you to create some vectors. The pen tool is very important. So we have the text tool. If you right click on the text tool, you will still see the horizontal type tool and the vertical type tool. So going further, we still have the path tool, the rectangular tool, and inside the rectangle tool you will still see elliptical tool, rounded rectangle. Then we have the hand tool for the movement and navigation. Then we have we have the rectangle tool here to draw your shapes, to draw rectangles. Then going further, we have the hand tool for movement of your files and movement of your images. Then going further, we still have the zoom tool to zoom in and zoom out of your document. Okay, so we have our foreground color and we have our background color. Okay, so we still have our quick mask modes tool. So these are some of the tools in Photoshop, and this is a brief introduction to Photoshop. So as we go further, we're going to be using some of these tools to create amazing things, to create amazing designs, amazing manipulations, amazing retouching. So thank you for staying tuned to this module. Thank you. So we look up to the next module of the class. Thank you and bye for now. Remember, my name is Alali. God bless and I love you. Thank you for now.